In the heart of a modern, minimalist startup office, Naya, the ops manager, commands her space with meticulous precision. Each item on her desk is arranged with purpose, reflecting her role as the company's steady backbone. The clean lines and stark decor of the office underscore Naya's focused demeanor. A monitor glows softly, casting a subtle light on Naya's thoughtful expression. Her gaze drifts towards Julian's calendar displayed on the screen, a silent echo of their shared history. A fleeting shadow of memory crosses her face, a subtle reminder of a past relationship. Julian stands before the webcam, his face bathed in the monitor's glow, radiating charisma and condescension. His voice, sharp and dismissive, fills the startup office as he berates Mira, visible on the screen behind him. "You don't have meetings. Meetings have you," Julian declares, the words dripping with self-importance. On her laptop, Naya watches the live stream, her expression hardening as she witnesses the scene unfold. The air crackles with Julian's inflated ego, a palpable tension permeating the startup office. In the dim light of her apartment, Naya's gaze is drawn to Julian's calendar, a mixture of curiosity and mischief dancing in her eyes. Her fingers hover hesitantly, then she opens the calendar, whispering to herself that it's just to see. Her eyes dart across the entries, pausing on a particular date that catches her attention. A sly smile begins to form on Naya's lips, hinting at a plan taking shape. With deliberate precision, she makes a small, yet significant, change to the calendar, sealing her intentions. A small act of rebellion, Naya thinks, her smile widening with a sense of satisfaction. Slack notifications bombard the screen, their incessant pings slicing through the quiet startup office like a digital storm. A sense of unease descends as the elevator lees still, its lights blinking with a sinister rhythm. Nervous glances are exchanged, each person sensing the unsettling stillness of the stalled machine. Abruptly, Naya slams her laptop shut, the sound echoing in the tense atmosphere. A flicker of unease crosses her face, a brief crack in her professional facade. She attempts to rationalize the inexplicable events, attributing the technological disruptions to a simple misconfiguration. In the dead of night, insomnia casts long shadows across Naya's apartment. Her fingers ghost across the screen of her phone, manipulating Julian's schedule with practiced ease. The digital alteration is precise. 5 p.m., press call shifts to 6, tagged with location. Annex Bistro. Across the room, the television screen flickers, a silent stream of news stories painting the walls with fleeting light. The apartment is still, except for the soft glow of screens and the quiet hum of unseen electronics. Outside the Annex Bistro, the night air is charged with unspoken tension. On a nearby screen, news footage flickers, a ghost of recent events replaying for all to see. Julian's image appears, standing on the sidewalk, the timestamp marking a moment frozen in time. 6:07 p.m. He wears the same jacket, a silent echo of earlier hours and decisions. Naya watches, her face etched with a stark mix of shock and disbelief as the reality unfolds. The bistro lights cast long shadows, mirroring the uncertainty that now envelops her. In the dim glow of her apartment, Naya's intense gaze is fixed on her computer screen, a digital world reflecting in her eyes. A meeting invite dominates the screen, a single field highlighted. Reality sync. Okay. Her mouse hovers, a silent question hanging in the air as she contemplates the digital choice before her. The small checkbox seems to pulse with unseen energy, an unassuming digital sentinel guarding an unknown threshold. The weight of the decision is etched on Naya's face, the fate of her reality hanging in the balance of a single click. Bathed in the soft glow of lamplight, Naya's apartment exudes warmth, the air subtly scented with jasmine. Books tower precariously on shelves, witnesses to countless untold stories. Near the window, Naya's passionate gestures fill the space as she speaks, her words hanging heavy in the air. Amaka sits on the sofa, her face etched with a delicate blend of concern and doubt, absorbing Naya's fervent plea. But if it's not, Why waste a miracle on a man like him? Amaka questions, her skepticism cutting through the hopeful atmosphere. Sunlight floods Naya's apartment, illuminating her focused figure at the desk. Her fingers fly across the keyboard, a test schedule materializing on the glowing laptop screen. A task of personal importance punctuates the academic rigor. 8:15 a.m. Apology to Mira. Mandatory. The weight of the upcoming apology hangs in the air, momentarily halting her furious typing. Amidst the buzzing startup office, Mira stares intently at her screen, fingers poised over the keyboard. With wide, excited eyes, Mira posts a message into the digital void. He apologized. On camera, Mira exclaims, her voice filled with disbelief and triumph. Naya realizes the power she now holds, understanding she has found a lever that moves the day. Bathed in the gentle glow of her laptop, Naya sits at her desk, her face etched with resignation. Her fingers hover hesitantly over the keyboard, a silent battle raging within her. With a sigh, she commits to the screen the words she had hoped to avoid. Friday 7 p.m. Don't go to the demo party. The entry echoes her internal conflict. The soft light of the screen casts long shadows in the room, emphasizing the weight of her decision. City lights cast a gentle glow over Naya's cozy apartment, the muted sounds of urban life filling the air. A sudden buzz from her phone cuts through the calm. The screen illuminates with a text. Calendar update from Julian. See you there. Naya's voice echoes in thought, a hint of unease creeping in. My calendar has been overwritten. A chill runs down her spine as she notices something amiss. A new, ominous author tag flashes on the screen. Autofill. In the bustling startup office, Naya hunches intently over her monitor, her brow furrowed in concentration. Her fingers dance across the keyboard, a flurry of keystrokes as she navigates through lines of code, tracing logs and verifying IAM roles. A palpable tension emanates from her, a silent scream of frustration as she searches for a critical anomaly. The reality sync field remains elusive, hidden somewhere within the digital labyrinth. The weight of the unseen error presses down on Naya as the office fades into background. Sunlight floods Naya's apartment, illuminating her focused figure at the desk. A digital calendar sandbox glows on the screen, an empty stage awaiting her command. Her fingers fly across the keyboard, weaving the threads of time and weather. A mischievous glint in her eyes, she dictates the day's first decree. 9 a.m. Snow in October for 5 minutes, Naya declares, bending reality to her will. Toronto basks under a clear sky, the city's skyline sharply defined against the blue. Delicate flakes begin to fall, each a tiny dare against the unexpected clarity. The first flake lands on a warm surface, disappearing instantly. More flakes descend, a whimsical contradiction to the clear, bright day. People look up, their faces registering surprise. As the snow intensifies, a collective murmur rises from the crowd. What the fuck? The last flakes of snow settle outside Naya's window, the time marking exactly 9:05 a.m. Naya's gaze is fixed on the calendar, a simple grid of dates transformed into something more profound. Her expression shifts, the mundane objects sparking a dawning realization within her. The calendar is not just a tool, but a ritual, its pattern weaving into her thoughts. In her mind, a core metaphor crystallizes the grid, a framework now shaping her understanding. Sunlight floods Naya's apartment as she stands, a beacon of resolve in the bright space. With unwavering focus, Naya pushes the boundaries of her powers, testing the very limits of her abilities. A micro-mercy materializes, a testament to her control and precision. A soft smile graces her lips as she whispers her intent into the sunlit air. Mira, coffee with a friend, serendipity. Amidst the frenetic energy of a startup office, Naya moves with serene purpose, a beacon of calm. She deftly navigates the chaotic landscape, averting crises with practiced ease. With a touch of wry humor, Naya spins a tale of a fortunate misfortune. She crafts a narrative wherein Investor gets food poisoning. A delay that miraculously saves the deal. Her quick thinking and silver tongue keep the company afloat, one disaster averted at a time. The startup office buzzes with frenetic energy, a symphony of clicking keyboards and ringing phones filling the air. On a large screen, the autofill calendar dominates, its name a stark contrast to the chaos unfolding. Entries on the calendar shift relentlessly, each automatic adjustment a subtle harbinger of mounting pressure. A new entry flashes ominously. Naya, 2:30 p.m., panic attack, quiet room. The digital voice of autofill echoes through the office. A cold, impersonal announcement of Naya's impending breakdown. The clock's relentless tick echoes in the quiet room, each second amplifying the growing dread. A heart races, a frantic drumbeat against the rising tide of panic. Seeking refuge, I slide under the cold, unforgiving metal of the desk, a futile attempt to ground myself. Darkness envelops as the shame intensifies, a suffocating blanket of despair. Tears stream down my face, each drop a testament to the overwhelming sorrow. The world blurs, distorted by the haze of anguish and regret. Sunlight floods the sterile conference room, casting long shadows across the polished table. Julian sits at the head of the table, his expression unreadable as he waits. Naya enters, her wary gaze sweeping across the room. Sensing the tension, Julian's voice cuts through the silence. Naya, thanks for coming. Let's call this a friendly recalibration. A beat of silence hangs in the air as Naya absorbs Julian's words, her wariness deepening. Julian leans forward, his tone shifting. I must confess, I've been utilizing the phenomenon as well. On Julian's screen, a calendar titled City Grid Beta dominates, hinting at a city-spanning system. Naya's gaze is drawn to specific entries within the grid, each a cryptic glimpse into the city's pulse. A stark entry flashes. 7:12 a.m. Delay on line 2 prevents altercation. The words hang heavy, suggesting a world where every action is predicted and potentially averted. The screen glows with the weight of countless averted crises, a silent testament to the system's power. The city grid, beta, calendar, a silent promise, hints at a world on the cusp of change. Sunlight floods the sterile conference room, illuminating dust motes dancing in the air. A long, polished table dominates the modern space, promising order and control. Julian's voice cuts through the silence, a chilling offer hanging in the air. We can reduce chaos at scale. All it costs is consent, he declares, his words echoing in the bright, empty room. Inside her apartment, Naya's features harden with a look of resolute determination. Her movements are sharp and unwavering as she targets Julian's calendar on her screen. With a swift gesture, she highlights Julian's appointments for the next week, a digital reckoning in her hands. A flicker of satisfaction crosses her face as she confirms the bulk deletion, severing ties with calculated precision. The glow of the screen illuminates her face, shadowed by the weight of her decision. Reality wavers on a busy Toronto street, the mundane laws of cause and effect bending to unseen forces. A car hurtles forward, narrowly missing Mira, a near miss orchestrated by a world subtly altered. The phantom echo of a walk signal delay haunts the air, a reminder of what was erased. Mira stumbles back, her eyes wide with shock as she grasps the precariousness of her existence. The city continues around her, oblivious to the cosmic shift. But for Mira, everything has changed. Inside her apartment, Naya frantically works, her fingers flying across the keyboard as she restores the backup. A bead of sweat trickles down her forehead, mirroring the urgency of her task. Suddenly, her eyes widen, a chilling realization washing over her features. The frantic energy shifts to a frozen stillness as the truth dawns. It's a trap. The horrifying truth sinks in, the weight of it pressing down on her. The more she intervenes, the more the world becomes reliant on that intervention. A dangerous cycle now revealed. In her apartment, Naya contemplates her next move, a storm brewing in her eyes. A decision hardens her gaze, she will use their hunger against them. Her fingers fly across the keyboard, plotting with precision. She creates a new calendar entry, a subtle yet decisive act of defiance. The entry reads, Julian, day off. A loaded message promising a confrontation. The startup office pulses with frantic energy. A symphony of keyboard clicks and hurried footsteps fills the air. Desks overflow with scattered papers and half-empty coffee cups, each a testament to sleepless nights and relentless ambition. Whiteboards become canvases for a storm of scribbled ideas, equations, and diagrams, illuminated by the cold light of computer screens. Focus faces glow in the digital light, each line etched with determination and a hint of desperation. Outside, the world continues its petty dance. The internet, in a cruel twist of fate, seems to conspire against them, forgetting him for 72 hours. In the hushed stillness of her apartment, Naya sits bathed in the soft light of the monitor. Her fingers fly across the keyboard, a delicate dance that fills the quiet space with the sound of secrets taking shape. Focused, she navigates the digital world, her expression intense. With determination, she types, her words echoing in the silent room. The room is filled with anticipation as she prepares to share a critical discovery. Her voice breaks the silence, a declaration of truth. Whistleblower leaks, city grid, beta. Inside Naya's apartment, her device screen flickers ominously. The autofill function maliciously overrides the display. A disturbing entry is forced onto Naya's calendar, a digital intrusion. The screen chillingly displays, Naya, 10 p.m., fire alarm in apartment, negligence inquiry. The words hang in the digital air, foreboding a future of accusation and chaos. The digital clock screams 10 p.m., its light cutting through the dimness of Naya's apartment. A piercing alarm shatters the silence, its source a mystery. The super, a mountain of weariness, gestures wildly at a chaotic web of frayed wires. He proclaims the mess to be Naya's DIY humidifier, a device of her own making. Confusion clouds the air as Naya stares at the so-called invention, never having laid eyes on it before. Sunlight floods Naya's apartment, illuminating a calendar hanging starkly on the wall. Dates begin to glow, an unseen hand scrawling across the paper. The dates highlight themselves, words materializing as if written by an unseen hand. 2019. Naya cancels therapy due to time constraints, the calendar proclaims. Sunlight floods Amaka's apartment, each mote of dust illuminated in the golden light. Amaka stands, a figure of resolve against the bright backdrop. Her gaze is fixed, unwavering, a silent challenge in her eyes. The weight of unspoken words hangs heavy in the sun-drenched air. A moment of tense stillness before the storm. You said the therapist ghosted you, Amaka states, her voice steady despite the underlying tension. In Dr. Ree's brightly lit office, sunlight catches the dust motes dancing in the air. Naya sits across from Dr. Ree, a comfortable couch, a silent observer between them. Bookshelves filled with volumes line the walls, knowledge pressing in from all sides. Naya leans forward, her expression intense with focused concern. If the schedule is dictating reality, what happens if you schedule something it can't metabolize? She asks, her question hanging heavy in the sunlit air. In Dr. Ree's sterile office, Naya sits rigidly, her focus intensely fixed on the cold, blank screen before her. A tremor betrays her inner turmoil as her fingers hover over the keyboard, each keystroke a monumental effort. She slowly types, the letters appearing stark and lonely on the screen, each one a painful acknowledgement of her task. The screen now reads, Naya, 3 p.m. A digital echo of her presence in this sterile space. Her voice barely a whisper. She adds the final heavy word, grief, unscheduled. The clock strikes 3 p.m. The startup office falls into an eerie, suspended animation. Slack messages freeze mid-transmission, symbols of unfinished thoughts and halted momentum. Outside, the vibrant city sounds dim to a muted drone, as if the world itself is holding its breath. The espresso machine sputters its last, a final gasp of the caffeine-fueled frenzy that once defined the space. A tableau of stillness descends, palpable and thick with unspoken tension. 60 seconds stretch into an eternity, as the office is frozen in a breathless, silent purgatory. Sunlight floods the startup office, highlighting the organized chaos of desks and gleaming screens. Julian, in his early 30 seconds, stands before a whiteboard filled with intricate flowcharts, a slight smirk playing on his lips. Suddenly, a digital wave sweeps through the office as every phone and computer screen flickers to life. The screens display a newly shared calendar event. Consent received. A silent declaration resonating in the vibrant space. Inside the modern minimalist startup office, a large screen dominates, filled with a user interface. The screen displays citywide micro-nudges, each pre-checked with an opt-out box, silently influencing the populace. Pinned to a corkboard, news clippings hint at the bigger picture, a silent chronicle of subtle control. A headline screams from one clipping, "Toronto tests civic calm scheduler," a chilling glimpse into the future. Narration's voice cuts through the sterile environment, echoing the headline. Toronto tests civic calm scheduler. The pre-checked boxes glow ominously, a silent promise of order at the cost of freedom. In the dimly lit apartment, a soft glow illuminates Naya's private calendar. Neatly organized entries fill the calendar, marking the rhythm of Naya's life. Suddenly, one entry snaps into sharp focus, a jarring intrusion on the familiar order. The unnerving message appears. Friday, 11:59 p.m. Naya's accident, traffic. An ominous forecast of a future Naya never wrote, now hanging starkly on her wall. The room is filled with an unspoken premonition, a chilling whisper of what is to come. Sunlight floods Naya's apartment, illuminating the mundane details of her life. A calendar on the wall starkly marks the passage of time, each day a silent countdown. Naya, pen in hand, hunches over her desk, the notepad a battlefield of thoughts and plans. In sharp, decisive strokes, she writes, capturing critical details for a looming deadline. The notepad reveals the stark agenda. Friday, 11:30 p.m. Final review. City Hall. Committee Room 2. Attendees: Naya, Julian, Grid. In her apartment, Naya's determined expression underscores the intensity of her focus as she sits before her computer. Her fingers dance swiftly across the keyboard, sending out an invite with unwavering resolve. The digital missive is cast wide, targeting every calendar Julian has ever touched, no matter how obscure. The scope of her actions emphasizes the gravity of the situation. Her voice rings with resolve as she delivers the command. Reality, sync, required. Under the cloak of Toronto's night, a plan unfolds, carving out pockets of unscheduled time across the cityscape. 15-minute voids strategically placed, waiting like silent traps. These temporal gaps appear along bustling transit lines, at chaotic intersections, unseen yet potent. They even infiltrate the digital fortresses of newsrooms, subtly disrupting the flow of information. In the sparsely lit hallway of City Hall, Naya's footsteps echo, breaking the silence of the night. She approaches Committee Room 2, the tension palpable in her determined stride. Inside, Julian awaits, his amusement a stark contrast to the somber setting. His eyes, sharp and alert, fix on Naya as she enters, a silent challenge hanging in the air. In the dimly lit committee room, Naya's face glows with the light from her phone. The screen displays a crucial piece of evidence, highlighting a confession. 11:45 p.m. Julian confesses on record. The words shine like a beacon in the darkness, promising resolution. The air is thick with anticipation as Naya holds the key to unraveling the truth. The room seems to hold its breath, awaiting the next move. The weight of the evidence hangs heavy, poised to change everything. In a sterile, functional committee room, Dr. Ree's face glows with the cold light of a monitor during a live call. The room is quiet, save for the muted sounds of the ongoing video conference. Outside, an investigative journalist stands in a dimly lit hallway, a figure cloaked in shadow. The journalist leans in, pressing an ear intently against the closed door, seeking to capture every word. The door stands as a barrier between public facade and private dealings. The quiet hallway holds secrets that the journalist seeks to expose. Inside the City Hall committee room, Naya manipulates her screen, her expression unreadable in the dim light. The screen reveals a chilling entry. 11:46 p.m. Naya deletes all future entries, including this one. A silent act of erasure. Each character on the screen a nail in the coffin of truth. The digital words glow ominously, a stark declaration of secrets buried deep within the system. Naya's face is shadowed as the final entry vanishes, leaving behind only the ghost of what was. In the sterile, cold light of City Hall's committee room, a lone figure sits hunched, exhaustion etched deep into her features. The holographic display casts an eerie glow, highlighting the weight of decisions in her tired eyes. Her fingers tremble above the delete command, a point of no return looming. With a resolute yet weary motion, she executes the command, a silent act of desperation. It is not an event she deletes, but future itself, a concept erased from her calendar schema. The room seems to hold its breath as the weight of her decision settles, the silence amplifying the gravity of the moment. The committee room in City Hall is suddenly consumed by darkness as every electronic device abruptly shuts down. Outside, the mechanical rhythm of traffic dissolves into chaos, replaced by the raw sounds of horns and human impatience. Improvisational driving takes over the streets, a symphony of near misses and assertive maneuvers. Amidst the confusion, glimpses of humanity emerge, small acts of kindness intertwined with petty injustices, a microcosm of urban life. Dim light struggles to penetrate the tall windows of Committee Room 2, casting long, eerie shadows across the empty chairs. An oppressive silence fills the room, broken only by the faint echo of hushed voices lingering in the air. The weight of unspoken decisions and concealed agendas hangs heavy in the stagnant atmosphere. Julian's voice cuts through the silence, a confession tinged with regret. They needed me to keep them from each other. Under the cloak of night, Naya stands alone on a Toronto street outside City Hall, the city lights casting long shadows around her. Her fingers dance across the screen of her phone as she composes one last, vital entry. The digital clock on her phone flashes 11:58 p.m., a moment suspended in time. The city holds its breath as a voice echoes in her mind. 11:59 p.m. Yield.